Hey there, mountain climbers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn, Episode 9, To the Peak.
So I am pretty close to having dynamite researched. We're only about 56 science away. So, poll. What to research next? We could do well-being, power, food, production, or science. There you go. So, if you're wondering what those things would be, well-being, I would likely just unlock the beaver statue, which is a good way to get a little bit. Actually, you know what? I would save up for the laborer monument. The laborer monument gives like +3 well-being, and it costs 1,000, and I think that's pretty reasonable. If you vote power, I would get the gravity battery. If you vote food, I would try to use more land and grow more food and have more farmers and make sure my land use is smart. If you vote for production, production would probably be printing press, which would be a well-being thing, I suppose. If you vote science, I would save up for the num cruncher and make sure that the num cruncher could be powered appropriately. So, them's the options. Right, this gatherer is fired. Ooh, we're getting a midday flood. That's weird. Oh, the other thing is, I suppose I don't have stockpile for actual medicine. Medicine's a liquid, isn't it? I was like, where's my medicine? I think it's a liquid. Canola medicines, yep. And, I guess what I'll do is I'll get one more medical bed. Just to make it look nice. This is just the general maintenance. Maybe it that way. As the population grows with the extra breeding pod, I'm going to need more beds anyway. Yeah, Yoda's being disturbed by things happening in the background. Okay, we have enough. Dynamite. Now, I meant to start to build the ramps for this. But the way dynamite works is you can just plop it on the ground and blow it up. And it will remove the soil underneath. And keep the game paused for a second. And the current priority right now is to build a pathway to the waterfall origin. And that will eventually allow me to channel out a new river. So let's try to think about how to do that efficiently. With as little with the least amount of wooden stairs as possible. I think probably here at this elevation is going to be like the least amount of stairs as possible. So that gets me all the way up, and that probably minimizes the amount of stairs I have to build, saving cost. And it shouldn't create so long of a path that the builders can't get there. And it will also not be in the way of the channeled river, I think. Yeah, is that green? Okay, yeah, it's green. Cool. All right, so that's the path up the river. Perfect. Path up to the waterfall, rather. I'm also going to start to set up a cut tree for up here. Because if we're building gravity batteries up here, or whatever else we choose to build up here, the trees are going to be in the way. In fact, there was already another tree here in the way. Oh, and speaking of trees, our lumber's bad. So let's employ some more woodcutters. Just realized how bottomed out our lumber got. Oh, that's because the temple got destroyed. So there we go. Poof. I just got a ton of logs back from destroying the old temple. Now, question for you guys. As soon as this, so it looks like science is being pulled, is pulled the highest. So I'm going to end that poll a little early and create a new one. Should I plan the grav batteries, or where to build grav batteries? Waterfall or dry mesa? So the reason I'm asking this is, while I'm building the pathway up, should I start working on the power shaft infrastructure to go up to the waterfall, or are we going to build grav batteries here at this dry mesa? This dry mesa is a perfectly suitable place for gravity batteries, as is the waterfall. Either way works for me, and you guys can decide exactly where I set them up. But if it is the waterfall, I would start to work on the power network for that as well, doing it in parallel with the pathing. We already have more dandelions. Just trying to balance the workforce. It's challenging. It's legit challenging. I need more people is really what it comes down to, but... we already have the growth fact going. And free beds? How close are these to filling up? Because other thing that happens as you work on well-being is beavers live longer. And then when they live longer, they're obviously going to take up more bedding space and all that. So it's another population control lever to be cautious of. Path's almost done. And overwhelmingly, it looks like you guys want me to do waterfall power. So we need to get a power shaft all the way up here to where the grav batteries will be. There's no loss, like power loss, when transferring power over long distance, fortunately. Like there might be IRL. Which makes life a little bit easier for us beavers. It will make this a little bit more expensive, but that's fine. As you can see, it's a long power shaft, and then obviously I have to hook it up to something over here, right? There's a lot of power shaft run that needs to be built for this to work. But the important part... Can you chill, little man? The important part is that... this is being built in parallel with the ramps. And then once we have gravity batteries, it can complete the rest of the network. Yoda's gone. He barked himself out of the room. All right, drought coming. Got it. So we have a decent amount of explosives. I'll show you how they work, because I was planning on leveling out this piece of the river so that we can grow one more mangrove. So you just have a builder run up with dynamite. It plants explosives, and then it goes boom. Very straightforward. It looks like this. Detonate, pop, and then the soil is one level lower. So we do have a clear path all the way up to the top. The first thing we probably need to do is to start cutting all those trees down, because the trees are going to be in the way of actually pathing to where the river is, because we're going to want to create a channel here, probably a 2-wide channel, but I might start with just a one wide channel to make it like the bare minimum, but a 1-wide, or at least a 2-wide channel to irrigate. There, I think update 4, I forget actually what update it was, but one of the recent updates changed the way irrigation worked. Or once upon a time it worked where when you irrigated something, you gained a certain guaranteed amount of irrigation. So like when you had standing water of like 1 block, it would irrigate out a finite but preset amount. And now the way it works is the more water that is stored in an area, the wider it goes. Because there used to be a meta where people would use like water dumps and dump like one little drop of water out in the middle of nowhere, and it would irrigate a huge swath. And now that meta has kind of been changed, probably for the better, to require you to have actual waterways and not just like cheeky little puddles. So like puddle meta is gone, is I guess what I'm saying. Or not gone, but harder to exploit. It's probably a more accurate. Another thing I could do here, because we haven't really been able to use this corner, is to... Oh, my builders can't even get out there. Well, I was going to put dynamite there to lower that level, but it's too far for the builders to reach, and I just don't care about eking out every last square meter of land. It's not important enough. Now, here we go. We got our woodcutters. Got this one cutting all the trees up top. Perfect. And my explosives factory soon will be kind of full for storage-wise. So I could add more storage for explosives. Because it's one of those things that once we use explosives, we're going to use a lot of. So having 30 doesn't mean very much. Also, we're just low on paper, so the explosives factory is mostly waiting on paper. The ratio of like paper to explosives or whatever is not, I'm not supplying right now, and because it's not necessarily the priority to maximize production, I'm not worried about that, but there's definitely improvements that could be made. So I think the way to probably set up a river is to have a vertical waterfall just like this one, somewhere around here. So that's my plan, to get the water from the top tier all the way down. So I'm going to start to use the dynamite to set up a vertical waterfall. Now, some of this dynamite spots are not pathable, which is fine. I can create temporary planks and platforms in order to reach spots that can't be reached. But we are officially terraforming. So current project is, yeah, build a pathway to waterfall origins done. So create an artificial waterfall. And don't forget the drought. Thanks for the reminder. I will be raising the floodgates soon. I think even if I didn't raise the floodgates, we would be fine. With 2.5 level water back here, I could release it to fill up the lower levels and still have, like, enough water back there to survive. But a reminder is very helpful, because I forget often. If I destroy this, do I get back the material? I do. There's kind of like an order of operations that would be ideal that I was not doing. So we'll be on engine power in a minute. Alright, I don't mind a early flood, so I'll flood the bottom section, done. Flood the middle section, done. Flood the top section. Curious how long this drought will be. So this is too far for builders to get to. Really? Okay, I guess. I'm surprised. You think it's only going to be 5 days? That'd be pretty short. So it looks like I'm going to need some sort of pathing to get up there. I'm guessing 9. Oh, 15 days. That's a wee bit spicier than I thought, but that should be fine. 15-day drought. So in a 15-day drought, any drought that is longer than 11 days will sufficiently dry up the bottom and middle section enough that I will need to release water from the aquifer in order to keep the Lido usable. That's really the only special consideration needing to be made for this specific drought. Not a huge deal. So this will be the bottom of the waterfall, where the water will start flowing out this way. It's a big investment, building artificial waterfalls. All right, so the challenge has been trying to get to this level now. Probably the cheapest way is maybe building a stairwell that goes down as well as up. And power generator needs to be turned on. Thank you for reminding me, because I didn't have work being done. Things that I can turn off for now would be gear workshop's fine, because I'm maxed on gears and I'm not really using gears for anything at the moment. And then I'm going to actually turn off the... I'll keep the lumber mill going for now, because we're using planks to build the pathways. Oh, well, they path to it. Swanky. Actually, they got here. They didn't fully get here, but they got close. On hard mode, as you may have noticed, the drought length gets worse and worse and worse. It doesn't go to infinity, as obviously that would not be survivable. But it's one of those things that you absolutely have to plan for. Or you will suffer the wrath of the drought. So eventually I'll have like a path out to the water source, like this, allowing the waterfall to be fed. And I'm going to be installing water locks all along the way to be able to control the elevation and elevation of the water, so that we don't run out or anything. They're supplying about 2/3 of the power that we need. That's not a problem. We'll even shut down the lumber mill so that we get more explosives. And one of the beautiful things about shutting down the lumber mill is I get more inventors, so it has that hidden bonus. Medicine still looks fine. I can shut down the healer, get more inventors. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure that they will be able to path here from this ramp. I think they'll have to have platforms. Man, he is in a mood today. Why are you so cranky, Mr. Yoda? Yeah, too far away from the district. So, platforms it is. In the larger scheme of things, you know, a few logs and a few planks is not that big of a deal for the investment of, like, creating a man-made waterfall. So the food that we're really not keeping up on is kohlrabi. So that's another thing that we can plant back here if we want to make sure that everyone has the kohlrabis they want. Once we have the river in, getting more kohlrabi farms could be nice. We could even plant kohlrabis up at the top here. That would be a little bit more challenging because there's not going to be standing water up here. Unless, of course, there is an option to put in floodgates here. To pool water up to a depth of at least 1 at the top. I'm not planning on doing that just yet because I don't really need to irrigate the top here. It's not like I'm out of arable land, but there's always that option. Alright, so these explosives should be pathable now. Blow it up! So last time I played, I did manage to kill a beaver by blowing things up with them too close. I'm gonna assume that that's still an issue. So just, like, be aware of that, I suppose. That you can nuke your beavers to death if you aren't patient about setting the explosives. Interesting. According to the game, all of this is pathable? I'd love to see that. And I'm only like a 1/5 of the way to getting a Num Cruncher. It was a lofty goal that you guys voted on. I suppose I'll do one more poll. Should I get Grav Battery before Num Cruncher? Yes or no? A simple yes or no. The benefit of the Grav Battery would be that during this drought, the engine could add power to the battery during non-work hours, and then it could withdraw power from the battery to keep the work facilities closer to 100% or at 100% until it runs out of power. It's up to you, if that's something you want me to do. Boom. I think this whole level will be pathable because we have a road terminating right here. So you guys could decide whether I save up all the way up for the Numb Cruncher or I do grab batteries. Because the other thing is, like, the Numb Cruncher takes a lot of power, so having a battery will also help to keep the Numb Cruncher running. Not to say that you... I'm not telling you how to vote, I'm just giving you the option. Because I'm not sure that everyone realized the Numb Cruncher's at 1,500. Whereas the batteries is a 400. I can already afford the batteries now, but the Numb Cruncher's going to take a while. So here, I'm going to put platforms the other side. And these are going to be more permanent installations where the river's going to run. How did the one beaver get injured without explosives? So beavers can just get injured through work, right? Through, I mean, imagine working in a paper mill or an explosives factory. It's just it isn't that I injured them, it's just there's an injury chance for doing beaver work. And I don't mind them, they're having just logs stored up here on lumberjack flags, because I don't need the area. So I'll just put a bunch more lumberjack flags up here and try to cut as many oaks to get them out of the way. Yeah, beavers don't really have OSHA. There's no Occupational Safety and Health Administration, so they get injured at work a lot more often. Is this pathable? No, some of this isn't. Okay. I've got a contingency for that. Which is... bomb here. And then build a ramp down. Alright, how's that pole going? Operation Get Grab Battery seems to be somewhat of a popular option. Got it. It wouldn't be a terrible idea for me to just add another, like, large industrial pile of wood somewhere that isn't going to interfere with construction, which is to say nowhere, because everywhere is kind of in the way. If only I had deep storage, right? Where to put these logs? Because what's happening right now is, like, we're filling up with logs and I don't have anywhere to put them. And that's a problem. I could stack them. Like, I could put them up here and have a path for them. It's not a terrible idea, considering the engine is next door. And there's also even the possibility of, like, putting something on top of the large industrial pile there. The beaver's like, hey, you marooned me. Don't worry, I'm making it a high priority. There you go, buddy. That still has 48 hours of fuel. But I think this beaver is going to have a bit of a rough night. Oh, man, I didn't realize they had thirst needs. You'll survive till the morning, I hope. Might be actually the first beaver I kill. I haven't killed any. As far as I know, no one's died to dehydration or starvation or anything like that. But there's always a first. But generally speaking, beavers can last a little bit of time before they actually become dehydrated or anything. Is it you? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they're fine. He's gonna go drink now. No problem. I'm not a beaver killer. Alright, so this large industrial pile will store logs. And that will be right adjacent to the engine, which is kind of convenient, I think. Boom. Well, we are almost down to the level that we need the waterfall to be. This has actually gone sooner than I thought, and you guys did want a num cruncher. So, yeah, I will be working on getting a num cruncher. Let's just unlock it now. Or not a num cruncher, I misspoke. A grab battery. So the way the grab batteries work, I'm not putting it here, but the way they work is, as you can see, it's essentially like a crane with a large load. And when you have power, it hoists the load upwards. And then when you don't have power, it lets the load down to produce mechanical power. And this is a real world thing. They will often have gravity batteries. So in real life, gravity batteries will tend to take the shape of like water, where when you have excess power, you can pump water up to a reservoir that is a higher elevation. And then when you need power, you can run hydroelectric power off of that elevated water position. That's one typical way that you see gravity batteries. And another typical way that you see gravity batteries, not typical, but like I've heard about it before, is trains. That you have like a sort of a slanted track where you have very, very heavy trains on the track. And when you have extra power, you crank the train up to the peak of the tracks. And then when you need power, you let the train pull or gravity pull the train down the tracks, producing mechanical power. And I'm sure there's other ways. You know, I'm not a mechanical engineer or anything like that, so there's no doubt ways I don't know about to produce mechanical power, but in this game, it's just like a crane hoist, which is an interesting novel idea. Okay, the logs are getting stocked. Nice. And technically, you could there isn't water pumps in this game, but there are water dumps. So technically, you could do sort of a hydroelectric. I just don't think that the numbers work out right, where it's way more effort than it's worth. But hypothetically, you could have beavers pump water from here, or pump water from like the bottom of the river, carry that water up to the top of your waterfall, and then dump the water into the waterfall, where the water then produces mechanical power. I've seen methods of that. What you really need to do is you need to compress it so that it would make more sense if I did it off of this waterfall, where like I had like 2 or 3 water wheels powered from this beaver-made waterfall, and then like pooled the water here and then pumped it back up. But that's a lot of manual labor, and it's probably a lot less manual labor. I haven't run the numbers, but it's probably a lot less manual labor to cut trees and feed them into an engine, truth be told. So, bang for your buck, you're not going to get it from like super overcomplicated setups. But it would be, if this wasn't, I won't be setting it up like that, but it is like an interesting thought experiment, I'll put it that way. So let's get the other half of the waterfall. And then one thing I'm going to want with this waterfall is the ability to control water. So I am actually going to build the floodgates that I said that I was going to consider. I'll build floodgates up here to be able to control whether water pools from the top or not. Because I'm adding a considerable amount of volume to the total water capacity that is up here. Alright, these are almost built. I am running low on dynamite, however, but... And then another thing to point out, which is probably pretty obvious to most of you, is allowing this waterfall to run without a way for the water to leave the map would have somewhat devastating consequences. Because, you know, it would flood everything and I wouldn't be able to control the flood. So I am also not going to let the water run from this waterfall until the river's done. But that will be the total depth. And then the plan is, at this point here, just to have a single run for expense, because I'm out of explosives. And then once I have more explosives, I can widen it and deepen it and all that stuff. Keep it cheap first. So I'm planning on putting the gravity battery maybe, actually maybe right there. Something like that. Where it hangs off of the side of the waterfall, and anytime I need power, it can release to a depth. So if I really wanted to min-max it, which I don't think is going to be necessary, if I really wanted to min-max the gravity battery, I could remove this stuff here. I could lower the terrain level down, and the more vertical drop that it has, the more potential horsepower that it can add to the power grid. And yeah, it is creating a second stream here that will bleed out. So let's get rid of that dynamite. In fact, let's get rid of that one too. Let's just put it here where the where that oak seedling is, so we don't have it drip. I could always levy it, but I'd rather just have it more narrow. Save on dynamite. But good catch on there. Alright, that's too far for builders. Once this is built, we'll be able to get that back. And I'm going to lower those floodgates and raise these ones. So these ones won't allow water through, and these ones will allow water through, so that we don't accidentally flood the map. I could definitely see that being a oopsie autosave situation if I don't pay attention to it. You know, I just realized I have a lot of stored paper. But the explosives factory is just not running. Its productivity is actually 88%. So yeah, I guess I'm pretty good on paper. It's good to know. I thought I had more inefficiencies than that, but clearly I don't. So most of the trees that I needed out of the way have been cleared up here. I'll just pause for now the lumberjack flags. And then once the lumber's been pulled away, I can put them back. Ooh, that's done. So this is the low level that I would need it to be. Perfect. I do see that my planks are rather low, but I think a lot of that is just that there's planks that we haven't hauled away. But I might want to turn, 12 there, 3 there, 6 there. There's a lot of planks available for construction. Can I build gravity on a bridge that's located in front of the levee and waterfall for space? Oh, yes. If you mean building a gravity battery here, I'm not sure. I could try that. Just because I'll put it this way. The amount of effort to move this power shaft over here is pretty minimal. So I'm not going to worry about your suggestion, but it is. I will try it. I'll if I have the time and resources, I'll build a yet another gravity battery and see if what you propose is possible. Because that is a very good question. So if I do want to run, you know what? I'm going to change the designs around. So these floodgates are kind of in the way. I'm going to move the floodgates. Probably here instead. Like that. Raise these up to 1. And then the power network won't be blocked. But that also means that I'm going to have the platforms for the gravity battery. I just don't want to mess up the waterfall, because I don't have the answer to that. Whether it will work like that or not. All right. So once the logs will just be on the ground. That's fine. Thank you for tuning in to Timberborn, which originally streamed live on Twitch January 2nd. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, a link can be found in the description of this video or at Rhadamant.com. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow beavers.